Hello and welcome. You're watching Eye on Africa. I'm Clarisse Fortuné. Our top stories. A new date for the Senegalese presidential election, June 2nd, is put forward by the National Dialogue Commission, boycotted by many of the opposition. Nigeria tries to calm a rising inflation and people's anger by hiking up the interest rate on a day thousands of Nigerians take to the streets. Benin's culture once again in the headlines after the documentary Dahomey was awarded a Golden Bear at the Berlin Film Festival. The prestigious win fueled the country's pride. Senegal's National Dialogue Commission is to propose the presidential election be held on June 2nd. Suggested a new date after 2 days of dialogue organized by Macky Sall as a way to ease tensions after he failed to postpone the February 25th poll by 10 months. The talks were boycotted by many of the opposition. Sam Bradpiece has the latest.
The Technical Commission present at the National Dialogue has recommended that a new presidential election date be fixed for June the 2nd. That's sometime after the official end of Macky Sall's term in office, which draws to a close on April 2nd. So, begs the question, why not hold an election before April 2nd? The argument given by those in power is that there are a number of important religious festivals and events coming up, notably Ramadan, and they argue that you simply can't hold an electoral process while these religious festivities and events are taking place. This is an argument which is unlikely to be accepted by the opposition, which have called on the country's Constitutional Council effectively to force Macky Sall to fix an election date before April 2nd, before the end of his mandate. Now, Macky Sall has said that he would step down after his term in office finishes, but it's unclear at this point what happens after April 2nd. Who will take power if there isn't an election before then? And that's really one of the key questions remaining in this ongoing political saga.
The Central Bank of Nigeria raised the interest rate in an effort to curb inflation on a day when thousands of people demonstrated across the country against the high cost of living. Last year, President Tinubu scrapped a state fuel subsidy and devalued the Nigerian currency, the naira, prompting a hike in the price of imports. Reforms that led to widespread anger. Laurent Bestechel tells the story.
Marching on an empty stomach. Thousands of Nigerians rallied for nationwide protests against the country's deepening economic crisis, which has left many on the brink of starvation.
We are suffering for Nigeria. It's not like this before, but we want change for good. Children now, they are hungry. Adults are hungry.
Nigeria is currently experiencing its worst economic crisis in decades, and the austerity measures introduced by President Bola Tinubu, including scrapping fuel subsidies and currency controls, have so far not yielded the expected results. Inflation reached a record 29% in December, while prices of basic goods have more than tripled, leaving many Nigerians struggling to afford food. Faced with a growing emergency, the government recently ordered the sale of 100,000 tons of cereals at a subsidized price, but the measure was almost immediately suspended after a rice distribution in Lagos sparked a deadly stampede last week, killing 7 people.
We just want to pray for Nigeria because this queue is not what Nigerian wait for. It's not for us. Look at people dying.
Bola Tinubu has repeatedly called for more time to allow his reforms to take effect, saying they will help stimulate foreign investment. But with more than 60% of the population now living in extreme poverty, Nigerians are fast running out of patience.
Please, we are suffering.
And President Nana Akufo-Addo says in his State of the Nation address that he's taken personal responsibility for Ghana's economic crisis. The once labeled one of Africa's fastest growing economies is now battling its worst economic hardship in decades. Justice Baidu.
This is President Akufo-Addo's last year in office.
Ghana heads to a crucial election in December of 2024 in which former President John Dramani Mahama will be facing off with current Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia as front-running candidates in what is expected to be a critical election. An IMF bailout that the country was forced to run for last year has helped bring in around 600 million out of a total of a $3 billion package. This, along with other revenue measures that the government put in place, has helped bring down inflation from over 50% last year to around 23% now. Still, many people complain that times are tough. The IMF bailout has come with it new tax measures and reduced government spending that are beginning to bite. This has turned on public anger on the ruling NPP government, and it is threatening its chances at securing another 4-year mandate.
We're faced with a very difficult situation and had to take a lot of unpleasant but unavoidable measures to bring stability and confidence back to the economy. These included tax measures that we did not like, but we knew we had to take in the knowledge that the medicine will be bitter but temporary.
Mr. Akufo-Addo's government has taken on some very expensive policies like a free senior high school program that has sent many young people to school for free, but has stretched the country's finances. A series of high-level corruption cases that have been reported in his government have also seen his public ratings take a tumble.
A French journalist is currently being detained by Ethiopian authorities. Antoine Galindo was arrested for being part of a conspiracy to create chaos in Ethiopia. Earlier, I talked to Joan Tilouin, his colleague. He says Antoine Galindo seems to be in good spirits.
Well, as far as we know, the conditions of detentions are harsh, but Antoine Galindo is in good spirits and benefits from consular support with daily visits and the right to defend himself with a lawyer, an Ethiopian lawyer. In some way, he has the strength of the innocence because we are confident, as we know, that our journalist is up to scratch and committed to rigorous journalistic ethics and high standards of investigative journalism. So we are confident in what the justice will have to say.
So how did the Ethiopian authorities justify this arrest? Did they submit any element of proof?
Well, not for the moment. Antoine Galindo was arrested 6 days ago during a meeting in the heart of Addis Ababa with a representative of the Ethiopian legal opposition. It took us 27 hours to locate him in a police station. He was brought before a judge on Saturday, February 24th, and we learned that he is under criminal investigation for conspiracy to create chaos in Ethiopia. But he has not been formally charged, and the investigation is ongoing. The magistrate, the judge, wished to give the police 1 week rather than 2, as requested by the police, to present evidence in support of the accusation. So let's see on Friday, because there is a new court hearing on this Friday.
And what about any words from the French authorities in this matter?
Well, the French authorities are trying to help and to do what they can do, especially their mission as a consulate mission. But it's really an Ethiopian's affairs. I mean, we fail to understand the reason for this arrest, and we are very surprised by the reaction of the Ethiopian authority because it's so damaging not only to press freedom, but also for the reputation of Ethiopia and the African Union. Addis Ababa is a world diplomatic capital, and we deeply regret that Ethiopian and foreign journalists seems to be unable to work serenely on major issues of interest to the African continent. The Antoine Galindo case shows that it seems to be complicated to work in Addis Ababa, which again is a world diplomatic capital.
The film Dahomey by Franco-Senegalese director Mati Diop was awarded a Golden Bear last Saturday at the Berlin Film Festival. Naturally, the prestigious win fueled the pride of Beninese locals. Report Emmanuel Soji.
In Benin, the national media celebrates the latest win at the Berlin International Film Festival. Mati Diop, a Franco-Senegalese filmmaker, has been honored with the prestigious Golden Bear Award for her documentary, Dahomey. The film follows the journey of stolen Beninese artworks returning back home, evoking the theme of cultural restitution by former colonial powers. The jury's interest in this debated issue fueled the pride of Beninese locals.
Honestly, I was amazed. It's Benin's name that she put in the spotlight.
The Beninese authorities commend the extraordinary work of Mati Diop, who shines a spotlight on the country's culture on the international scene.
It's a great feeling. I saw the film being made from the beginning, and when she finished, she showed it to us. In my opinion, starting with Berlin was the best choice for the film. There was a better framework for it, better acceptance.
Beyond the restitution debate, Dahomey explores the strong connection that young Africans have to their cultural heritage.
I have faith that through her accomplishment, many Beninese people will be able to reconnect with their culture and become aware of the value our country holds.
It's becoming Mati Diop's signature to speak about the young African generation through strong and important issues. This shows us the work that still lies ahead in relation to young people.
After the success of The Woman King, an American-Canadian production about the legendary female warriors of the Dahomey Kingdom, the recent award for Mati Diop's film is hailed as yet another triumph for Benin's culture.
I offer you a choice. Fight or we die.
And that's the end of our edition of Eye on Africa. Thank you for watching.